Hey everyone, this is Dylan, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review for you guys. So the movie I'm reviewing today is Clive Barker's Lord of Illusions. So Lord of Illusions was released on August 25th, 1995. So yesterday it actually had its 25th anniversary. It was directed and written by Clive Barker, and I think this is his last of the movies that he ever directed. He directed 3. He directed the original Hellraiser. He also directed Nightbreed, and this is the last movie he actually directed himself. So this movie stars Scott Bakula as Harry D'Amour, Kevin J. O'Connor as Philip Swan, Famke Janssen as Dorothea Swan, and Daniel Von Bargen as William Nix. This movie had an $11 million budget, and at the box office it made $13.3 million. So it did not do well. It made its money back, but probably just barely. So let's get into what Lord of Illusions is about. So we start off with a cold open. And in this cold open, we see these 4 survivors of a cult go back to the cult in order to save a young child that has been kidnapped by the leader of this cult. And so one of the people that come back is Philip Swan, and he was originally the kind of protege of this cult leader who was William Nix. And so we're not entirely sure, I guess. So the reason that William Nix himself is a cult leader, at least in my own opinion, is because it's not clear like what their like belief system is, but he believes that he's a god. He has these essentially magic. He can the one thing that we see at the very beginning of this movie is he has some flames in his hand and he's like tossing them back and forth that he conjured up. And Philip Swan and the other 3 people who have all escaped are searching this compound for this missing girl. And at the end of this, Philip Swan essentially traps Nix in a... Right here is the thing. It's like this headgear thing, and it covers his head, his face, his nose, his entire face, and they bury him so that he can't do any more damage. And then we fast forward to 13 years later. We now have Harry D'Amour's character, who is he has some interest in the occult, and so he's hired by somebody to go do some investigation in California. I think it's like he's hired by somebody to like find out if their spouse is cheating on them. And so in the middle of this, he stumbles upon this whole Nix and Swan story. And he meets Dorothea, who's played by Famke Janssen. And Dorothea is married to Swan, and Swan is an illusionist. And so she invites him to go to the illusion show. And it's very much like a Las Vegas show. And there's this really interesting set piece where Swan is kind of splayed out. He has his arms and legs tied down, and there are swords that are flying above him. And so at certain time intervals, these swords start to fall, and he has to remove the cuffs and stuff to get himself out of the way of these swords. Unfortunately, he doesn't get out of the way in time, and he starts getting impaled and presumably dies. And so we're going through, and Harry D'Amour realizes that Swan actually is not dead. And there's this plot that these people are trying to resurrect Nix to come back. And that's where I'm going to leave it. All right, so let's get into some of the things that I liked. I thought that the illusion set piece was really cool, like the illusionist show, where the swords were falling down. I thought that that was really interesting. I also think that there is some really cool imagery in this movie really horror and disturbing imagery, and I think that that's really cool, and it really is a testament to Clive Barker and a lot of the things that he does. He just is really good with really disturbing imagery, and so I thought that that was really cool. I also thought that the last 30 minutes were so good. You'll find out in a little bit that I did not particularly like the middle of this movie, but that ending made up for it completely. I also really thought that the practical effects, the practical special effects were really well done. The only issue with special effects that I had was when it came to the CGI effects. I think there were some fire CGI effects that just did not look very good, but for the most part, I thought the effects looked very good. All right, so now let's get into what I did not like about this movie. Uh, there's some weird storyline between Dorothea and Swan. I'm not going to say anything because it is a pretty big spoiler. I mean, I kind of caught onto it very early, but I don't want to spoil it in case any of you don't, and then the reveal will be ruined. So I'm just going to say that there's some things about that relationship that make me uncomfortable. I mentioned that I didn't like the CGI. I thought the CGI was bad, but this movie did come out in 1995, so I mean, that's kind of reasonable, I guess. My biggest issue with this movie, and part of the reason that it's if it didn't have this issue, I think it would be a spectacular movie. I watched this on Pluto TV, and I'm not 100% sure if it was the director's cut or the theatrical cut. I think it was the director's cut, but it was just so long. It was over 2 hours long, and you felt every minute of that 2 hours. And it's mostly the stuff that's in the middle of the movie, and it takes too long to get anywhere, and it's just too slow moving for me. But that last 30 minutes really picks up and is so much more interesting and really saves this movie. All right, so let's get into what other people thought about this movie. On Letterboxd, it has a 3 out of 5. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 63% critic score and a 52% audience score. And this got a cinema score of a C+. So I ended up giving it a 3.5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. I really enjoyed this. Like I said, the last 30 minutes are amazing, and I would watch it for the last 30 minutes alone. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to pick it up from Scream Factory before it went out of print. I'm really upset about that because I really do like Clive Barker and a lot of his work, and so I was really disappointed. So hopefully at some point it will come back into print from either another company or Scream Factory gets the license. But yeah, I was disappointed in that. So that is it for this movie review. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought about Lord of Illusions, or if you would be interested in watching it. So if you're not already subscribed and you'd like to be, please hit that subscribe button down below and give this video a like if you liked it. Thank you guys for watching and have a great day. Bye.